Hey guys, it's Rick. Welcome to the HD Vibe channel. If you'd like to see more tips, tricks, rides, reviews, installs on my Harley-Davidson touring motorcycles, as well as information about motorcycles and the motorcycle community large, I ask you please hit that subscribe button. And when you do subscribe, please leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Also, don't forget to hit that bell icon and select all so you do get notified every time I do put out new content. So today I want to talk about a topic that can take our rides from being fun and enjoyable to potentially dreadful and very fatiguing, and that's the notion of wind buffeting. So what I want to talk about today is a few tips that can help reduce wind buffeting, certainly not eliminate it because you can never do that. And we'll get into those tips right after this. Wind buffeting, guys. Let's first talk about really what is wind buffeting. And really, in the simplest term, wind buffeting is how that wind is coming across your bike or over your fairing or at you. And is it really smooth air, or are you getting turbulence, which is sort of jiggling your head around and making it, potentially an uncomfortable and very fatiguing ride. One of the things that can impact wind buffeting is really your helmet, right? So you need to have, if you wear a helmet, you really have to have a good fitting helmet. And I will say, when I first started riding, I used a half helmet. And what I found was, wind, even on the Street Glide, when I first got that, it obviously has a batwing fairing. My helmet would be bouncing up and down like this, and that's because the air was coming up under here. And it was a decent fitting helmet, but just by the nature of the helmet, it would bounce around, and I would bounce around, and I would feel vibration. And you couldn't see straight, your glasses were vibrating, your sunglasses, and it was challenging, right? And when you have that helmet bouncing and your glasses vibrating, it can be very fatiguing. So I actually went to a modular helmet. It's a full face, but it's modular. I'm kind of in between, a 3/4 and a full face. But this one is very aerodynamic. This happens to be an HJC ARFA 90. And it's got good wind protection underneath here. It pretty much closes everything up, so I don't get that bouncing and this jiggle and bobblehead. And also, again, a good fit where it's tight around the neck is important to eliminate that. So, that's kind of the impact I think that helmets can have. So now let's talk about, something that's really a simple fix too, is really your windshield or your windscreen that you have. And we'll specifically talk about the Road Glide Special. So when I first got the bike, I had a stock windshield, and this is what the stock windshield looks like. You can see it's very flexible. It actually kind of goes down right here, so it allowed that wind to kind of come over. It is, this is probably about where it would sit if it was installed on the bike. So it did come up over this vent on the fairing, but what it does is it sort of directed the wind, almost right at my face. Obviously something that can cause that buffeting, and that constant wind on your face is going to create neck strain, and again, not make that ride very enjoyable. So after having ridden with the stock windshield for a little while, Memphis Shades was actually kind enough to send out actually 2 windshields, and the one I have on the Road Glide Special right now, this is the Memphis Shades spoiler in the 5.5 for your 2015 up Road Glides. This is in the black opaque. They also come in a dark tint and then also a clear. So this is actually their shortest windshield. And really, when you're looking at windshields, the conventional wisdom says you want to kind of get that windshield height about, between your nose and your chin, so that it essentially kind of pushes that air up over your head and creates that nice smooth air so that you don't get the wind buffeting and that kind of bobblehead. So again, this is a 5.5, and I will tell you, this probably, as it sits, is actually a little bit lower than the stock windshield. I actually do get better wind, I call it wind management with this, partly because this has this scoop that kind of comes up on this windshield, and it also goes farther over than the stock windshield. And I've ridden this at high speeds on the highway. I've ridden local roads, backcountry roads, and this is actually quite comfortable. It actually puts that wind sort of right at the top of my helmet, and since I do wear the full face modular, obviously it still allows air to slip through my vents that I have up here, so you do get air management within the helmet. The other aspect of these windshields is this is the Memphis shades and this is the stock. I mean, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but just the thickness of this Memphis shades windshield is much thicker. I think it's about a 1/16 of an inch thicker. And obviously, if you look at the stock windshield, this thing, very flexible. This one will not flex at all. So, you know, just having that addition, the flex with the stock windshield is gonna also potentially contribute to a little bit of buffeting. So as I said, what I have the Memphis shades, the 5.5 on here. This is the 6.5. Which I actually have it run. So as you can see, it's an inch taller. It actually probably is about the same height in the middle as the stock windshield, but it continues over to here to again push that wind kind of up and around you so that you do get that kind of smooth air, and helping to eliminate some of that wind turbulence or that wind buffeting that you may get when you're out on certainly on higher speeds. You know, obviously when you reduce that wind coming straight at you, it makes for a quieter ride when that wind is kind of passing up over your head. Another way sometimes people try to eliminate that wind buffeting is really getting a taller windshield where you're sort of looking through. You know, that is a good solution. It kind of again creates that bubble around you. There are taller versions of this Memphis shade spoiler windshield. I think it goes all the way up to 11.5 inches, which is gonna be kind of putting you right up here. So obviously when it gets that tall, you almost need to clear because you are gonna be looking through that. But for me, I prefer the look of a lower windscreen or windshield. But I still want the functionality. And this windshield and that curve kind of going all the way through the windshield, it pushes that wind up over my head. As I mentioned earlier, and it really makes for a comfortable ride. Now, if I was going on a many hour, multiple, 5 hour, day long, couple day long ride, I'd probably switch this over to the 6.5 in this opaque black. If I switch over to the 6.5, again, it's just gonna push that air just up a little bit higher over my head, even further help with the elimination of any potential wind buffeting. So with that, I'll have links to Memphis Shades website and specific links to these windshields for your road glides. They do cover, pre-2015 and then 2015 and up. They do have spoiler windshields for your batwing fairings as well. They also have windscreens for your Road King that you can run as well. So lots of options. They also have the fairings for the Road Kings and some of the other Harley Davidson bikes that are in the lineup. So with that, I hope you go out and check out Memphis Shades. This is excellent, quality built, made in Memphis, Tennessee. These guys and Mike that I've talked to at Memphis Shades have been great, good people to deal with, and I think you'll really like it. So that I think I've given you and hope you take some good tips away from this in terms of, again, reducing that wind buffeting. You'll never eliminate it. There's always going to be a little bit here and there. But some of these things, I think between, helmet and having a good quality windshield like Memphis Shade spoiler on your Road Glide or your Street Glide or on your Road King will help with that as well. So with that, I want to leave you with this. Life is short, get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.